Okay, day 2. We're doing upper body, so upper extremities. So things to note here, we're going to start off with a warm-up every single time. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. First thing is going to be stretching out our chest, shoulders, things like that. Next thing is going to be scapular clocks, which I'll show you how to do in just a second. And then the last thing is, I usually like to start with a couple of push-ups, things like that, very basic, just to get your arms, chest, back, things warmed up. So we'll start with the foam roller. Ideally, we'll have a long one. Unfortunately, I'll have a short one or half roll, which is okay, we'll make it work. So essentially what we're doing is I'm going to support the bottom of my head and allow my upper back to be on the roller, like so. So my hips will have to be off the ground for a second, so I can just maintain that. And essentially what we're going to be doing here is my arms at a T. We're just going to lie here and allow my chest to just stretch out and relax. Okay, so we're going to stay here for about 30 seconds. Next one, we can do swimmers. So arms up here, hugging myself, up here. Same thing, do that for about 30 seconds. Next one, we can punch the ceiling, so get our serratus warmed up. Same thing, we can do about 20 of these. And then we can do kind of long arm, again allowing that chest to stretch. Alright. And then the last one, we can do arm overhead, arm below. Same thing, about 30 seconds. We can do this a couple of times, a couple of sets here. Okay, so warm-up number 1. While we're down here, I'll just stay down here. Again, I just like to do a few push-ups. I usually can do 30 or 40 at a time. If you just want to split them up in sets of 10, it's really easy. So it doesn't need to be anything special. Again, this is quick and dirty. I'll just do 10 here. Okay.
Modified.
And then
modified push-ups.
And then yeah, so if you need to do a modified push-up, we can be on our knees here. And so same thing, on my knees, I'm just doing the same thing. So if that means you can only go here, that's okay. We're just doing half ones. Okay? And then last thing, I'm going to stand up. Okay, and we're doing what I like to call a scapular clock. And essentially what that means is our scapula has a bunch of muscles attached to it. And at all kind of sides of it. So if you picture a scapula kind of like a pizza pie, you have muscles coming off all ends. So I just like to get things warmed up, kind of like the glutes, except now with our shoulders, I like to get the scapula warmed up just because it works with the humerus as we're moving our shoulder in different angles. So let's pretend I'm doing the right one here. Maybe a little backwards for you. So they're called scapular clocks. So just like a clock, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way around. We're doing the same thing with the scapula. We're moving in towards all of the numbers. So we'll start with 12, and then 1 o'clock, 2, 3 is all the way to the side, 4 is down below, 5, 6 is all the way down, 7 down, 8 down, 9 is all the way across to the left, 10, 11, and 12 is all the way up. Okay, we're doing a few of those on each side. So I'll do that a few on my right side, do a few on my left. Again, this is for that neuromuscular facilitation, so essentially waking up, getting those muscles warmed up, and getting ready to perform at your highest ability. So those are the 3 things that I like to do for my upper body just to get warmed up. So let's get started. Okay, let's get started. Move number 1, it's a combination move. We are adding in scapular retraction, so upper back strengthening, with external rotation with our shoulders, okay? On top of that, I'm also going to do this in a squat position, walking backwards. So this is a full body movement, and it's truly a shoulder burner, okay? So what we do here is I have a band. I'll also show you with dumbbells, but what I'm using here is a band. I'm going to get in my little mini squat position, arms out, like this. I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together. It's at about eye length or eye level right now. Squeezing my shoulder blades together, bringing my arms back, bringing my arms into external rotation. So I'll show you without it first. So shoulder blades back, squeeze, external rotation. Okay, we're holding that position. So let's try it again. These things can have a tendency to hit you in the forehead, so I'm trying to keep it above that. So I might need to pull it a little bit higher than normal. So go here, squeeze, back. I actually might change my hands here. So squeeze, back, external rotation. I'm going to hold that position right there. If I want to make it harder, I can do steps back, holding that position, step forward, release, and back. So the reason we're doing this is, if you saw my previous video, shoulder injuries, upper arm, upper body injuries are extremely common in snowboarding specifically. So we need to strengthen everything up here. So specifically, especially for a rotator cuff, upper back, things like that. When we hit an edge, when we outreach with our arms, it's really important that our shoulders are already strong, our back is strong to be able to sustain those falls, even if you are going off a jump and tucking and rolling. So this is kind of a full body, upper body, core, and we're adding in the legs just because I'm a mean person like that. So that's move number one. Okay, this is the same movement, I'm just adding in dumbbells. If you don't have dumbbells, you can use a can of soup. These are 5 pounds. It doesn't really take much for this. So again, nice squat position, dumbbells out in front of me, squeezing my shoulder blades together, bringing my arms back, adding the external rotation, and then I'm slowly walking back, slowly walking forward. As I release, arms come down, arms come forward, okay? And then we do it again. Okay, move number 2. All right, so this one again is for our shoulders. What we're gonna be using here is a kettlebell. This one is, you can use a dumbbell. I might be able to, I can show you here with a dumbbell also real quick. It's a 5-pounder, but this one is really effective if you have a kettlebell. What I have here is a 18-pound, 8-kilogram kettlebell, okay? They're called bottoms up presses, so we're balancing, we're using our stabilizer. Actually, I'm gonna show my left side some love this time. We're holding it in this position, so it's gonna require a little more grip strength as well as stabilizers in my shoulder, okay? I'm holding this in the scaption position, so my arm isn't directly in front of me, my arm isn't directly to the side. It's kind of in that nice, kind of angled position, and that's the most comfortable position. That's kind of how our glenohumeral joints, that's how they're angled, okay? So I'm just leaving those structures a little bit loose. What I'm doing here is I have it in the bottoms up position. I'll show you from this side. Actually, I'll start over here since it's the left side. Okay, I'm gonna keep it here. I'm gonna press it. At the same time, I'm going to perform a lunge. Coming up, back into that waiter's position. Okay, I'll show you from this side. Press it, lunge, back into that position. Press it. Now the right side, lunge, back into that position. If you want, you can also do another variation of this. I'll show you on the right side this time. You can keep it in that waiter's position, so my arm is at about 90 degrees in that scaption. So I'll show you from the front here, not directly in front of me, kind of to the side, out angled. I keep it in this nice stabilizing position. This is a tough one, so I don't need a lot of weight here. My arm is shaking. Again, keep it here, lunge, lunge. Okay? You can do other things in this position as well. I can add in a squat, you know, things like that. So, a couple of things here. I'm gonna put my arm down because it's shaking. With the dumbbell, I'll show you what we're doing here. Dumbbell, you can use a little bit more weight, but essentially I'm holding it like this. Okay, it's gonna want to fall forward and back. So same thing, I'll hold it in the waiter's position. And again, we're doing the lunge here, lunge. And I can also do press, hold up, down, press, hold up, and then perform another lunge. Okay, so same thing. That one is not only for the strengthening side, it's for the stabilization side as well, to keep that joint stable, especially again when you're falling out in front with an outreached hand. If you're hitting that shoulder, we're just strengthening all of the stabilizer muscles around that. So, all right. Okay, move number 3. This is for our back, mostly. Okay, I have a Bosu kind of platform here. Again, if you have it, awesome, I love them. If not, you can use pillows, shirts, yoga mats rolled up. We're just adding a little proprioception into this back strengthening exercise. Okay, this is also a lower extremity strengthening, but today we're focusing on our back. So I get on the Bosu here. So again, we're gonna get it about shoulder width apart. I'm using the kind of bands here. I can use probably a thicker one if I need to, but I'm just showing you here. So I'm gonna get in that squat position, like so, nice and balanced. I'm adding some resistance in this band. And I'm actually gonna split this in 2 movements. First, I'm gonna squeeze my shoulder blades together. Then I'm gonna bring my arms back. Okay, elbows are staying close to my body here. At the same time, I'm working on that balance with my legs. And whether you like to believe it or not, my core is also being activated at the same time here. Okay? Okay, so now we're going to move on to our chest strengthening. So what I have here is another band. If you have the long TheraBands, you can just tie a knot in it and make it a little bit shorter. So essentially what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try to create some resistance in this. Essentially what we're doing is we're working on our chest strengthening as well as some of those rotator cuff muscles to be strengthened as well. I'm just doing a push-up, so what I'm going to be doing is maintaining some resistance between my arms. I'm doing the push-up, and then I'm going to move my hands over to the other side, doing a push-up, moving my hands over, all the while I'm maintaining constant resistance between my wrists. Okay? I'll show you the modified version of this as well. So here we go. Resistance here. Get up in that push-up position. Push-up. Over to the right side. Push-up. 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 Okay? Modified version is on my knees. If I can't go down towards the ground as far, that's okay. Still, same thing, maintaining resistance between my arms. So if I'm on my knees here, say I can go down here, that's okay. All right, this one's a shoulder burner, but stay with it. Same thing, rep-wise, we probably want that 12 to 20 repetitions, 12 to 15 at the very least, all right? Chest strengthening number 2. What I have here is a exercise ball. Size doesn't matter in this case. I also have a kettlebell, but you can easily use a dumbbell. I just prefer to use kettlebells. Okay, so what I have here is I have the kettlebell in this nice kind of nook of my arm. I'll show you from the side here. We're just doing a chest press, a single arm chest press using the exercise ball. So it's going to require that I utilize my core quite a bit. So I'm going to roll out here until my upper back shoulders are on the ball. I'm keeping my hips up, okay, the entire time, like so. I need to go forward to a degree because my arm needs that space to come down, so my hips are up. Now I can use my other arm out for counterbalance or up if you need that for balance as well. And same thing here. I'm pressing, coming down, pressing up, coming down, pressing up. Same thing, 12 to 15 here, and then I'll switch and do the other side. Again, this is only about 18 pounds, but my glutes are on fire right now because I need to keep those hips up. as well as stay stable because my arm is going to want to swing side to side. All right. So now we're going to jump into the power side of upper body. So power essentially is being how much force you can throw in a short period of time. These are great for any rotational movements, anything where you need a lot of energy in one short explosive movement. So essentially that's why we're doing it. It's also a butt kicker. So first one we're going to do is, you've probably seen it before, is I have an 8-pound Medball right here. If you don't have a Medball, you can use something heavy, or you can even use, if you have a basketball, soccer ball, things like that. It's not as awesome as a nice rogue Medball like this, but it works. Careful with the bounce back up, because it can hit you in the face, speaking from experience. So what I have here is, what we're going to be doing is kind of power throws. So we're going to come over, I'm throwing the ball down with force. Okay, I'm coming down into a nice squat position. You've probably seen people do these in the gym. They are awesome for your core, for your shoulders, things like that. So essentially, again, I'm coming up. Modified version, if you can only kind of bring it up here, it hurts your shoulders. If you can't bring it all the way up, that's okay. So again, you can add more or less of that squat in it. The point here is to create that force up and over. So last power move, this one's tough. So I'm in a kind of crunch position or sit-up position. Sarah's going to help me here. Be careful with your partner, because essentially what's going to happen is I have the ball overhead. I'm performing a crunch movement. I'm throwing that ball to my partner as I'm coming up, creating as much force as I can, throwing and momentum, throwing that ball forward. They pass it back when I'm in that sit-up position. You go back down and repeat. These are tough, so if you can get that 10 to 12, yeah, you should be happy about that. So I'll show you 3 just initially right off the bat. So I'm here. So I start off here, throwing it to Sarah, throw it back. Okay, so again, 10 to 12, 10, you'd be happy with that, but yeah. So because we've incorporated a lot of our core and abdominals muscles during this movement, during this day, I'm only going to add one core movement to the end of this specific workout, and that is a Pallof press. If you have seen these are awesome. If you haven't, your mind is about to be blown. Essentially what it is, it's an anti-rotational movement. So specifically this core strengthening exercise, you can utilize in a lot of different ways, but specifically for snowboarders and skiers, this is amazing because you're constantly having to control that rotation with your torso and your lower extremity. It really allows you to strengthen those muscles. So what I have here is I have another band. This will require a band, and I'm trying to think, there's other ways to do it without. I can't think of any at the moment. So bands are really cheap. You can get them on Amazon for dirt cheap, but I highly recommend them because they're cheap, they're mobile, and they're effective. So I have here, this is a pretty nice band. So what I'm going to be doing, I'll show you a couple of different variations of this. So Pallof press essentially is I have kind of a fist with my band in it. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm holding that in front of me, and what it's going to want to be doing is it's going to want to rotate me to the left where it's pulling from. My core and my shoulders are going to be required to keep myself stable, okay? So I'm going to go out just a little bit further to make it harder. I'm going to drop down into a squat position, keeping this close to my body. My hands are going to come directly in front of me and they're going to stay there, okay? They're going to come back, and I'm actually going to stay in this squat position, but my arms, my hands are going to go kind of up, straight in front of me, and down below. So I have it here. And again, it's quality over quantity. The larger that lever arm, harder it's going to be for me to hold that position. Okay? So I'll show you one more time. Going up, straight, and below. The entire time my abs are on fire. Okay? Another version of this is I can go down here. Arms out in front of me, legs at 90 degrees. Okay? Get it done. So for that last movement, the Pallof press, we do that both sides. Okay, so specifically for this one, that counts as 1, 2, etc. So again, 12 on that side, 12 on the other side. Okay? That counts as one movement.